Hi everyone, this is Soraya from Twin Flames Universe, and this is your collective energy reading for the week of November 18th through 24th. And this week is all about healing and releasing energy leaks. Last week it was a lot about relationships, giving and receiving, evaluating how we relate to others and, whether we still hold this belief of an exchange in energy instead of sharing energy. Any lingering beliefs in codependency, right, of like sacrificing to get our good or anything having to do with that dynamic of giving and receiving. But this week is more on a personal level. God is really bringing us inward and revealing to us chronic patterns of energy leaks, which really kind of have to do a lot with the beliefs, relating to things like it has to be difficult for me to get my good, or that, there has to be a certain amount of struggle, or that my healing journey has to look a certain way, or the judgments that we're holding on to that are adding another step to our healing journey. So really what we're stepping into is actually a place of very deep surrender, much deeper. Whatever that looks like for each of us, it'll just be a step deeper into surrender of trusting God with our journey, not feeling like we need to kind of spin our wheels, run in circles, and try to do things in our own way. We're releasing some of these beliefs that make us feel like we have to make things more difficult than they have to be. So what's coming up into our awareness might be things that have been patterns for a very long time, maybe decades. You've been holding this pattern, maybe your whole life you've held this pattern. And so be very compassionate with yourself as God is revealing these things to you, and just make the changes as you feel led to make them. God will make it very clear, and allow Him to show you the way through. So really this is about letting it be easy. This is also about, letting God direct our healing journey and allowing ourselves to be open-minded, and releasing some of those old rigid beliefs that were causing us to just put more energy where it didn't need to go. Because the truth is that we are energetically sovereign with God. We can hold our own energy, and with God, we can just be led by Him directly, and we don't have to spin our wheels trying to figure out things, or trying to control things, trying to control the outcome. There's just subtle ways, if we're holding on to some of those beliefs, this is really the time that God is bringing that to our awareness and helping us really clean up our energetic process when it comes to our spiritual work, and really get clear on what's important and what isn't, and giving us that guidance to really let go of these old beliefs that just aren't serving us. Things that are just making things way more difficult than they need to be, and God is just making it very clear on how to be more efficient with our energy, so that as we're guided by Him, He always knows the best way. So it's really like tapping into that relationship, depending on that relationship, trusting Him, trusting that He knows the best way for us, and letting go of all these coping mechanisms and strategies and judgments that we held on to try to survive in a world where we didn't see God being there. And we're letting all that go so that now we can just have what is simple and easy with God, which is just as easy as having that relationship. And He just kind of walks us through life, and He shows us what to do and where to go, and how to resolve things. And when we have a problem, we go to Him, and instead of us having to exert so much and try so much. And so this week, there's just a lot of, clarity happening. As always, we're going through, contrast. We're really getting a better glimpse of what's really going on, the inner workings of our consciousness. But yeah, really where we're headed is we're headed into a different relationship with God, where we are walking in way more surrender than we're used to, which is so powerful. That's a place of tremendous power in our lives, and peace to be able to rely on God and to feel safe with God. And we're no longer going to feel as drained. It's not going to take as much time and energy to do anything, especially spiritually speaking. We're going to be feeling a lot of relief through this process as we release these beliefs and these blocks that have to do with leaking energy. We're going to feel so much better, so much more fulfilled and satisfied with God and with love and with life, because we're not having to exhaust ourselves on things that are not helpful for us, and things that honestly, it's a lot of that negative focus and judgment is just, it's exhausting, and it's hard, it's work. It's a ton of energy that really serves no purpose other than us avoiding trusting God. And so we're just letting all that go. So what I really feel energetically right now is we're in this place of just choosing for ourselves more peace, more fluidity, more just a gentle relationship with God that is more loving in nature and not so much like a partnership in the sense that we're getting to some place together and it's like a functional relationship. It's more of an intimate relationship, one where we can feel that dependency and it feels comforting to us and we can finally rest in that. In order to get to that place, we've got to look at those blocks, you know, the ones that tell us that it has to be hard, or that tell us that we have to judge and we have to figure things out. Or, you know, there was a part of me too, as I was healing some of this as well, where I noticed I was constantly like judging my spiritual journey and trying to see like, you know, am I doing this right? Am I missing something? Could I do something better? Instead of just letting all that go, letting it be so simple and just be with God and allow Him to direct your spiritual work. Allow Him to open up the doors that need to be opened and to just trust Him with the whole thing. And there's blocks to that. And so as those come up, you just go through them and look at that part of yourself and give it the love that it needs, you know, with the mirror exercise that Jeff and Shalia teach. If you have not used that, if you have not tried that, if you have not read their book, just stop this video and go get that book, because this is something you just need in your life. It is like one of the best books on the planet, is essential. And so you've just got to check that book out. It goes over the mirror exercise, which allows you to quickly and easily heal all of these blocks. And so as we're going through all of these energetic shifts, which are so powerful for all of us, and that can really lead us into a much richer experience of life, really what we're wanting at our core, that loving, peaceful life that we all really crave, these blocks come up, and the mirror exercise allows us to heal them so quickly and easily. And so I really encourage that book. But for those of you who do know about the mirror exercise, you know, put it into practice this week, you know, as always. But in this area, you'll see things come up that might be intimidating. These might be, you know, ways that it's like these are really like survival type blocks. These are blocks that are very fear-based. There's a lot of like, you know, you'll see when you're going into it, there's a lot of this defensiveness and protectiveness. And so just be patient with yourself, keep giving love to that part of yourself. You'll notice that as you hold loving space for that part of you, it'll just melt down. It'll become a lot more, you know, manageable and easier to really love that part of yourself. And so just stay with it, and keep being compassionate with yourself. But the good news is that as we heal this, we're going to feel tremendous relief. And we're going to be able to experience a relationship with God that we really crave, which is one where we can truly be vulnerable and intimate and just relax and trust. Having trust in relationships, I think that that's really key to all of this is, you know, as we're releasing these energy leaks, we're moving into more and more, we're freeing up more of ourselves to trust God. And just have a relationship where we don't feel alone. We don't feel like we're stranded on an island and we have to just survive and figure it out and do it on our own. And it's almost like God has to like make us receive His help because we're so resistant to it. We're letting go of these blocks so that we're more like, okay, like my Father's here. Okay, I'm okay. I'm not in a hostile environment. You know, it's not a war zone. It's okay. I can trust, and God has a way for me, and I can rely on that. And so, yeah, that's really what this week is about, you know, clearing all these blocks that are causing energy leaks in our lives, causing us to run in circles and, you know, spin our wheels trying to get somewhere, and feeling like we have to do that without God, because we never do. You know, we can do everything with God, and God always has a better way. So yeah, the takeaways this week are really just being compassionate with yourself, but also being aware. Don't avoid these blocks. You know, as they come up, it's easy to slip into these because, again, there's a lot of, it's the survival feeling attached to them in a lot of cases. And so there's going to be this feeling of wanting to kind of be like, well, this is what I need to do in order to get my good or to get to the place I need to get to. And just see that for what it is. Recognize that that's just that resistance trying to hide these blocks, and just keep going inward and keep giving yourself love there. And remember that the outcome that we're headed toward is always peace. If what you're doing doesn't feel peaceful, there is something there that's out of alignment. God has a better way for you. It's always going to be peace. It's always going to feel good. And so if something doesn't feel good, you just keep looking into it. Just have the courage. Make the decision on the front end. I choose. And you can decree this to yourself now. I choose to look at every block that comes up into my awareness and to not be afraid of them. And no matter what it is, I believe and I trust that love conquers all, and that love is enough, and that me showing up with love is enough to heal anything that comes in my way. And with that confidence, you can go forward. And as things come up, it's okay. It's just a matter of giving yourself love there. And so that's it for this week. Just take care of yourself, pay attention to yourself, make sure that you're giving yourself the love that you need, and know that you're headed toward your heaven on earth, and that involves a ton of peace. And so allow yourself to have that. Choose your good and choose your love. And I will see you guys next week.